Good morning. Tom Beal here at the halfway point of the morning walk. It is another gorgeous day here in Boca Raton, Florida, South Florida. I hope wherever you are in the world and whenever you cross paths with this, all is well with you. And here's a quick reminder. Here we are congregating, meeting, discussing things online in the mediums like Facebook, like YouTube, like Twitter, like LinkedIn, like Instagram, like Snapchat, etc., etc., etc. And each of these companies, many of them multi-billion-dollar companies, have built it in to make it addictive, to make it something that taps into the brain to make you want more, which equals more time invested by you into each of these individual programs, into the cumulative online experience. So we, as humans, are being manipulated continuously by the marketing, by the strategies that are built in to make the platforms addictive and have us desiring to be on and in those platforms more, giving our most precious asset of time. And in my opinion, you can see a direct correlation between the billion-dollar companies that I mentioned and a correlation between the amount of time they can take, amount of time they can get from the largest amount of people equals their bottom line. It's literally the most precious commodity and asset that is available in today's day and age, which is our time and where we choose to invest it. And when the masses, millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of people congregate and give cumulatively their attention, their time, that equals huge money for the people that the time is given to. And this, by the way, includes Netflix. This, by the way, includes the music industry. All that is tied into where our time goes as a cumulative group. The larger the groups congregate, the more the companies benefit. So what does that mean for you and I? What that means for you and I is for us to recognize that quote to be true. Our most precious asset is our time. And if we look at that direct correlation between where our time cumulatively as humans congregate in the millions and tens of millions and hundreds of millions, that directs right to the bottom line of hundreds of millions and billions of dollars to where the time is given. Time is the most precious asset. And it's up to us to not let that time be slipping through our fingers, to not let that time have hours disappear without us proactively delegating it and choosing to give it to those places that the time can be given. In essence, rein in and take an assessment and an accounting of where you're investing your time in a given day, in a given week. Nowadays, these smart devices have daily counters of where you've spent your time on the device. Those will be nice indicators for you as to the accounting of where you're delegating your most precious asset of time. And what I've found is, and what studies have backed up, I don't have the reference points, but it's quite clear and quite ironic. The more time that people invest online, the less happy they are. Let that sink in. The more time they dedicate and give their most precious asset of time online, in most cases, and as studies have shown, the less happy people are. Because think about this, if we're dedicating our time and giving our most precious asset of time to all the online platforms, what we're not doing is getting out and living life. What we're not doing is breaking away from the screen and interacting with other humans, people that are close to us, our friends, our family, etc. Because what we're doing is diving into all these online platforms, making them super wealthy, diving into and watching all the TV programs, all the movies, making the actors wealthy. And it's due to your dedicating your time, your most precious asset, to those platforms, to those different places where your time can be allocated. Think about that. So, a little bit of a challenge to do an assessment, do an accounting of where and how much time are you investing in these platforms, in this online experience, versus how much time are you dedicating to living your freaking life. Get out there and live your daggone life. So you may notice I haven't been online that much. Guess what? I don't miss it. Guess what? I do care about you. I do care about, touching bases with people that are important to me, but I'm not about dedicating my life to a whole online situation. I'm out there dedicating my life to living a life that is by my choice, by my design. And hopefully it may inspire you, it may inspire some others to do the same. Because here's the bottom line, like the news, I mean, gripe almighty, 2016, how much did the news drag you in? How much did the news drag me in? I allowed it to drag me in. I allowed it to steal my most precious asset of time, when in the end, it doesn't mean jack shit. It doesn't. I can't control a daggone thing in all that political conundrum in the news world, where the news is all there to instill fear and instill divisiveness and make us hate our friends and family and divide us amongst ourselves, because divided we're easily conquered, we're easily controllable. But when we break away from this online experience and don't give our attention to all that craziness, you can actually enjoy time with people that you don't necessarily agree with. And guess what? That's okay. That's how the human adventure is, and that's perfectly fine. You can still be friends with your friends. You can still be friends with your family that you don't agree with everything on. That's called the human experience. It's called breaking away from this craziness and getting back to face-to-face talks, face-to-face communications, fun, out, away from the daggone screens. So you won't see me around as much. You'll see me doing some videos here and there, but the more time, it's been shown in study after study that people spend online, the less happy in general they are. So I like joy, adventure, and passion. I like being happy. I don't like getting brought down the rabbit holes of all the divisiveness of the news, all the manipulation going on, and all the different platforms that we tap into in the online world. I like living a life by design. I like living a life following my intuition, following my heart, following what feels right to me, not going down those rabbit holes of anger, those rabbit holes of divisiveness, those rabbit holes of this versus them, us versus them, all that crap which is going on. But to each their own. A lot of people dig it. I don't. All right, I'll chat with you soon. Let that simmer, let that sink in. Sam England, amen. Good to see you here, brother. Karen, hi, how are you? Hope all is well. And for you, if you cross paths with this at a later time and date, let it simmer. Let me know what you think. Meanwhile, I'm gonna be living my life. Why don't I do morning walks? Why don't I do the moped rides? Why don't I go on little random impromptu trips? We enjoy life. I would hope that may set an example that you too can design a life of your own will, of your own choice, following your intuition, following your heart, and not getting caught up in all the disillusionment going on in the world. But to each their own. News, negative energy without substance. That's some people agree with it, some people don't. I don't know. I think I came up with that years ago, and it resonates with me. Negative energy without substance. Break away from the news, break away from the disillusionment, break away from the propaganda, and watch how the less time you spend online, the more time you live your life by design, the more happy you become. Chat with you soon. I'll see you inside my app. If you're not in my app yet, go get it. There's some amazing things coming. You can get it at thesimplifier.com/app. I will chat with you soon. Make today great. Bye for now.